Pick one. One of, I've been really candid in sharing that one of the things that I've really struggled with is this piece. And for me, it always comes down to finding the right people, because again, I see the possibility in everyone. And that's why I've just taken myself out of it. And now, Beth. Well, yeah, no, but I was gonna say, I know your name. She really, like, she interviews people for me. I do a 5-minute, yes, I don't feel like I'm gonna have to pull my hair out over this person, but every single time she has called it before it happened. Every time she goes, you realize that I know you like this person and you're really excited because they said everything right in the interview, but you realize you're gonna have to hold their hand the whole time. And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, I'm just telling you, you know, you need to be really clear. Like, every single time she has nailed it on exactly what it is. And in fact, so now I'm doing a couple different things. Because the actual, when I've got great people, the client services program that I put in place and the systems that she helped me with and the delegation management through Central Desktop, that has saved my life. Because again, I can see right away.
It's that communication piece. It's there, you can see it. It's not living up here. Most people manage from their memory, and that's, even if you have a great memory, it's not a good way to manage. Because you can't remember everything that you've asked them to do. You can't remember everything that they're supposed to do. I
microtask in Central Desktop. I do not ever ask anyone to do anything without it going through Central Desktop. And when people ask me to do things and they ask me and they try to like email me, I kick it back and say, put PUCD. Put PICD. Put in Central Desktop. Like, you've got to task me, because that's actually how I manage my own stuff now. Every day I pull every Kelly task and I look up, and like with the ambassador concierge manual, with the Ignite program concierge manual, what I've done is everything is on recurring task. So I don't even have to enter it more than once. I take the manuals that I've created on the client experience, we enter everything into Central Desktop, and we've systemized the entire thing. So it automatically pops up.
You remember when I said, you know, in the very beginning, that how many of you have sat straight up in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and wondered if it got done?
I don't do that anymore. It's really,
That's the key.
I cannot tell you how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that I'm also really trusting, which I don't think is a bad quality. And I really do believe that when people tell me that they're going to do something, that they do it. And that's not always the case. And I don't even know that it's intentional. I think that's just human nature. Like, people have the best, you know, intentions to do something, and then they just don't, you know, they don't get it done.
Exactly.
So Beth and I were talking, because one of the things that we know, we get asked this all the time by you guys. And you know, my whole thing is we don't develop products and programs and services without it being requested from you all. And being, you know, that I had just gone through this whole nightmare team ordeal, and I had made a committed decision, and I completely systemized my entire client experience throughout my entire organization. Like, every single position, we do not hire now unless she has vetted the person, because, you know, I'm fired from hiring, right? So she has vetted the person, and then we have everything completely documented for every position before we ever even bring them on board. Everything. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because that's the key. When I said, you know, we were training, my people were training each other while I was in Hawaii. That's the key. When you have that documentation, the old office manager who was leaving, not because she was upset, just because she wanted to be with her kids, who said, I'm happy to stay on and train the new one, that all happened. She trained them using the systems and the documents that were already created. It makes it really simple. It's that, again, it's that foundation piece. If you were building a house, You know, you want a really solid foundation. And this is part of that, you know, business foundation piece so that your business house stands really nicely.
And this is also how, when those unfortunate situations like with the event manager do happen, that I was able to call up Ashley, who is, by the way, one of my favorite team members I've ever had, and we're still really, really good friends, and, you know, say, oh my gosh, can you help me? And I was literally able to print out the registration checklist procedure so that I did not do anything more than just say, here it is, here's everything that you need. I put it all in one place for her. I mean, bless her, I barely talked to her for 3 minutes. And she ran the entire registration intake process. Was it good? It's because it was completely systemized and the experience was designed, and also because she's been trained in how to provide that client experience in the way that I request. She could literally walk in with no direction, a printed checklist stuff, and go to town. And I had dinner with the speakers while all that was going on.
And think about this, if it's all set, you don't have to hire the $50, $75, $90 an hour person to run your stuff. You can find the $10, $20 an hour person who's more in line, who may be more in line with your budget and get the same results. So
the big learning experience for me, as Beth put on here, is that you are only as good as your team. Because when I was having all those team issues, I had so much opportunity coming in that I couldn't even see straight, and it was, balls were being dropped. The amount of, you know, because again, I make good on things if things go awry. You know, the amount of money that it cost me to make things right is astounding. You know, that is not good for business. You know, if you're looking at, it's great, actually, let me take that back. It's great for business on a client service perspective, on a bottom line perspective. That's terrible for business, you know? And I have a rule now with my team members, and you guys should write this down. You're either making me money or you're costing me money. Guess who I keep? They are responsible to improve the bottom line of the business. And they're shown how, they're given everything that they need to make that happen. It's really, really critical.
So we found this, this image of what a high-powered team really looks like. And as you can see, I liked it. We don't have time to spend an hour going through each box here, but you can see how it all comes together. The leadership, the vision, the systems, the communication, how it all kind of meshes. Is it clear on the screen? Okay, so what you can't see here is that there are,
Okay, here, let me read this to you.
Okay.
Here, go ahead and sit.
Okay.
Sit, princess, I'll read.
Okay.
So it starts with a courageous team leader, right? As I go in this afternoon, especially when I'm giving my leadership talk, you're gonna hear a lot about vision. Getting your team enrolled in, see, this is the piece I do really well. They are enrolled. They are committed to the vision. They're clear on the vision, and that they want to be a part of it.
They want to be, and I'll tell you from, you know, I've been having team meetings and live team meetings with my virtual team for years, and they have this huge buy-in to the success of the company because they're part of something, and they get where I'm going. They add stuff to what we're going to do. They're part of a team. They're part of something. And when you're a leader and you say, this is what we're doing, and this is where we're going, and this is, it excites them. They like to be a part of something, and then they work harder for you. And they stay longer because it's exciting, it's cool, it's neat, it's a great place to be.
Yeah, actually, Ashley said to me yesterday, she goes, I helped build this company. I'm like, you did. You absolutely did. And she should be really proud of that because she was in her mid-20s when she helped me out with all of that. The second piece is skilled team members. So you've got to have a courageous team leader, you've got to have skilled team members.
The right skills.
Right.
The right skills for the right roles.
You've got to measure their outcomes, right? You've got to have a measurement and outcome in place. So as an example, with my team members, I've really created a coaching element to every position. So at the beginning, and there's a whole thing to it, so I'll skim through it really quick. But at the beginning of the month, they set their goals. At the end of the month, they report on their goals and their results. Also, additionally, quarterly, we do a performance results description where it talks about how they want to grow as an individual, because I want to help them grow in the company. So there's a lot of reporting going on. There's also a weekly status report due from every single team member, and it looks different for different team members. My marketing report looks very different than my customer service report, but it talks about what went really well, what didn't go well, what's going on that we need to solve. You know, there's a lot of reporting going on, and there's a lot of not just reporting, but measurements and outcome. So in most of the positions in my company, when I was talking about on the Ignite where I said, and you know, you will know you will be successful when we include a bottom line clause. Like, they are responsible to creating a certain result that directly affects the bottom line, and they are given a goal every month of exactly what that is. And then we can measure it to see if, you know, are you hitting and exceeding that goal, or are you just costing me money every month? And they know from the get-go that what the deal is. They know I'm very blunt about you're making me money, you're costing me money. This is a results-driven team. On this side, we talk about team relationships. So relationship with other teams, I want to know that they're going to take, you know, when Beth's company calls, I want to know that they're going to respond to them and they're going to take care of them. The climate of collaboration and cohesiveness. Just the other day, Michelle said, oh, I talked to Linda, and you know, she and I are working on, they're working on some project to increase the ROI on Salesforce, and I'm going to get a report when I come back in. But that's all happening while I'm here. And then the trusting interpersonal relationships where you really trust one another and you know that they have your back. Not to say they don't make mistakes, we all make mistakes, but they have your back. And on this side, it's the purpose and the processes, so the compelling purpose, vision, and goals. The clear, so important, clear coordinated roles and accountabilities, and effective procedures and systems. Right. So that's the model that has been most effective for both of us.
And it works.
It works.
It works.
When you work it, it works. When you hire people because you think that they're awesome, because they've got a great personality, that's not good.
But there's nothing more awesome. Mm-hmm. There's nothing more awesome than getting on a call and finding that your 2 people or 3 people on your team have gotten together and they've created something and they've done something and they're just telling you, hey, this is what we did. This is how it made money. And you're like, that's awesome. Thanks.
That's pretty cool.
I'll go back to my own stuff now.
So Beth and I put together a training program that we're calling results-driven teams. And we took, because we get questions about this all the time. Like all the time. In Ignite, we get questions about this. In MPC, my private clients ask about systems. Her private clients ask about, well, how do I create this? You know, they don't usually call it a client experience. They usually report it as the symptom. You know, does that make sense? Like, they're like, I'm not getting enough referrals. Like, people aren't referring me. Why?
We're not getting referrals. I want to create some kind of wow factor, and I'm not really sure how to do that. Those are the kinds of questions that we get.
Yep. So what we did was we put together a 8-week business management makeover. Do not worry, I will not be telling you how to hire people, because that's not my strength.
But I will.
But she will. So what we did was we put together this program. It's got 5 60-minute foundation building training calls with both of us. So talking about our strategy to find great team members that you can afford. Okay, like, where are they? We know where they are. There's a lot of places that you can go that gets out of the typical VA model, and that you can find really exceptional people at a very affordable price, right? That you can put people into. Do you want to talk about the next piece?
Sure. So we've got each training call, which will hit on a very specific topic, all that tie back to each other. Then interspersed, there's going to be Q&A calls with Kelly and I, because I'm sure as you're going through the criteria, the curriculum, there'll be times when you'll have questions, and so you'll definitely have access to us so that we can say, yes, do this, no, don't do that. We'll put you in the hot seat. If you've ever been on, you can talk to some of our current MPC people who have been in the hot seat with both of us, and it's done. We're nice, but we're thorough. But it's really nice because you get her creative, and often, I think Michelle, you said it in one of the videos that we've released, that it goes something like this. Kelly says, all right, here's what you need to do. You need to go here, you need to go over there, and you need to think about this, and you need to lay out this, and they say, and then I say, okay, and now let's talk about how you're going to do that. So you need a system around this, you need to talk about this, you need to get specific about that. It's a really nice way for both of us to come in and help you. And so those Q&A calls are really powerful because we're not just answering questions, we're digging into, okay, why are you really asking this question, and where are you stuck in? And we put you in the hot seat and we coach you, both of us, from a left brain and a right brain situation.
Yep. And I'll talk about the onboarding of new hires for long-term success. So this is a very specific process. And for me, I used to not train people. It was and I figured out how to do it in a way that I train one person once, and I rarely have to train anyone again. Because I'm all about efficiency and figuring out a way to get these things done. The training is so important to make sure that they do it the way that you want it done, because they're not mind readers, and that's not fair.
It's not. And again, like I said, you can't just push them in the pool and hope that they can swim. You have to be really specific about what they're going to talk, what they're going to do, what they're going to say, how they're going to do it, what's your way.
Because that's where I used to fall down, is they didn't do it the way I wanted, but I hadn't really been as specific as I needed to do that. The day-to-day management for exceptional results. It's kind of like you can either manage people for 5 minutes a day and get exceptional results, or you can meet once a month and see how it goes, and wing it. And then finally, and this is the piece where I've found really great success with the team members that have really helped me take my business for it, is really inspiring them to be a linchpin. Have you guys read that book by Seth Godin? If not, you should read it. It's about being a linchpin, is making them indispensable in your organization so that you would pretty much do anything to keep them. But it's inspiring them to want to be that, because we don't just want hands. We want people to help us build our businesses for us, so that we can focus on the things that we want to focus on. I don't want to do admin work. Not that there's anything wrong with admin work. In fact, some people find it kind of relaxing. Not me. I'm not detail oriented. I don't want to be involved in it. I want someone who wants to take over the back end and is committed to the vision as I am, so that I can stay focused on coaching and program development and training and leadership and those sorts of things.
And when they're a linchpin, not only are they becoming indispensable, but again, it goes back to that they feel like they're part of something bigger. Like what Ashley said. It's Jamie is, she'll be with me forever.
She's awesome.
Because she's part of the company, and I treat her as such. And when she says, have you thought about this? Maybe we could do that. She's excited about growing the company, and that's what this is all about. They become invested in your success because it also means they're successful as well. It's a win-win.
Yes. Here's the other thing.
This is awesome.
So I created all these manuals because I was just done. Done wasting money, done having team members drop balls, done not having it done the way that I wanted it to be done. So we've created a ton of content around these manuals. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give you 3 of my manuals.
That big book that she held up with all the roles.
And it's so much more than that. The actual Ignite binder is like this thick. We're going to give you 3 of them. So launch it. How many of you guys have questions about launching stuff in your business? We have it down to a science. We have a launch plan, we have a launch primer. We have a way to put it into Infusionsoft, or not Infusionsoft, Central Desktop in milestones. We have checklists, we have tools, resources. It's launching and getting stuff out there and getting it really well known. It is totally systemized, okay? The second piece is sell it. Beth and I have both been working on our sales manuals so that how many of you would like to hire a sales team? Yeah? What? Or a marketing team. Well, this one's about the launch manual is about the marketing, but you need to be able to hire teams to sell things on your behalf, so that you're not on the phone. And there's a very specific way to find them, there's a very specific way to train them, and to systemize this so that they can be on their own.
And I'll tell you, the reason that I had you do the now and the future lists, on my future list was, in the beginning, I was in the middle of all the sales piece, and I realized that that is now a bottleneck for me, and so I pulled myself out of it. So I have now delegated that so that somebody can be making sales while I'm off doing other things. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. When you get that phone call that says, we have a new client, and you haven't done anything,
yeah,
that's a really good day.
Yeah, and even in the beginning too, if they're not even closing the sales, but at least they're making the appointments. How many of you use the complimentary strategy session model? Okay, I get appointments booked on all the time on our calendar. Like at one point, I think we were doing 16 to 22 strategy sessions a week. Not me personally, but my team. Booking and qualifying. And then Beth and I work together to even, in the last few months, things have changed a little bit, we've noticed. And so we got and put our heads back together and redid the sales qualification model to ensure that we're only spending our time with the prospects who need to talk to us. So we have a 2-layer sales model. So that's the sell it piece. And then the run it, we use, in both of our companies, we use program management guides. And so for the Millionaire Prodigy Club, we've taken the Ignite program guide and we've altered that to run for the Millionaire Prodigy Club. And we're going to give you exactly how we've designed the client experience. We're going to give you everything, the scripts, the templates, the whole shebang.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. So
you took the words right out of my mouth.
The whole thing. So we're going to give you all of that. And then we're going to train you on it. Because it's one thing to have a manual. It's another thing for us to really explain the intention and the strategy behind why we're doing what so that you can make it your own. Because you don't need to necessarily do it the way that Beth and I, maybe you like the way that some of the things that we do, but maybe some things you're like, I don't know, I think I might do that differently. And we can tell you then what works and what doesn't. Like if you're like, I think I'm going to do call blasts. We can be like, oh, we surveyed our clients, they don't like that. Does that make sense? Like we have all this knowledge because we've been doing this for a really long time as to what really works and what doesn't. And then we're going to give you a template so that you can use that for every single other position that you have or you're growing into in your company. So it only took me 10 years to make those manuals. Kind of wish I'd done that before. So would you like to recap, Vanna?
Dun, dun, dun. So here's how the breakdown goes. We have 5 of those content calls, each on the specific subject to get you moving through. Then you've got 3 Q&A calls with us, and those are actually interspersed between the 5 content calls, so it's not like back-to-back Q&A calls. Will help you along the way. Then we're going to give you those 3 manuals, which, I think I'm excited about those manuals.
Are you proud of me?
I'm so proud of you.
I'm trying not to seek approval, but that was good.
I'm so proud of you. Okay. And then we're going to give you, so you get the manuals, we're going to give you a template so that you can create your own manuals, and then we're going to train you around the manuals and around the template. So it's a full, it's everything. We're going to tell you what we're doing, we're going to give you stuff, then we're going to give you another template to make it really easy for you to continue this pattern.